what was Chase struggling with there in the first, and how did you kind of see him recover after that?
I think just a little bit of maybe trying to go back in time and pitch incredibly well instead of just well. I mean, the first outing, he was true to himself. The second outing wasn't as good, and I don't know if he either hears me talking or, sees a writing on the wall, but he didn't throw that great last weekend, and then, this weekend, for a moment there, took a step backwards. So I don't know if he's trying to be perfect or redo that outing or whatever. I can't get inside of his head, but he didn't have the same presence and body language that we've bragged on him about having since really the start of the year or so. But, when you can give your team a chance to win when you're a starter, you did your job. So, I mean, he found a way to kind of piece it together, and then he had a collision at first base. So, all things considered, it was time to go to the next guy. And I think if anything, Chase, the stat he needs to look at is Redmond threw one more inning and I think 30 less pitches than he did. So with stuff that good, he just needs to try and cram it down the opponent's throat, and every now and then it's not going to work out, but I bet a lot of times it will.
Seems like Al is finally starting to find a rhythm. Just what are you seeing from him that's different than the first couple of games?
Yeah, like extreme, like if you watch the videos or hear the comments in the dugout, extreme difference in effort. And, his 2 home runs are probably the 2 swings he's had the least amount of effort with. Now, as a hitter, we ask our guys to swing with conviction, but by at least the definition I come up with, that's got some looseness to it and some freedom of movement and all that stuff, not forcing the issue. And, he really tried to force the issue out of the gate. That's usually the problem with any baseball player when they're not doing well. For him, he can really afford to just kind of let it be free and easy because he's really gifted and he's pretty strong for his size.
What else can you say about Pete at this point? I mean, he just continues to tally hits.
I would say next question.
How unsettled are kind of some of the pitching roles, both weekend starters and bullpen?
Extreme. I think, we've tried some things. We want to keep guys involved, but also want to win the game. So I think we've started to see what our best defense is if everybody's healthy, which right now we got 2 guys, kind of battling some things on the position side. But defense is going to win for us. So at least that's starting to shore itself up. I think we're about to pick up 3 new pitchers here in the month of March when this turns over, because it's the 29th, right?
Yeah.
Today. So in that, changing of the guard or adding 3 pitchers, it'll mix things up even more. And, again, we want to win. So who cares who gets the win or the save or the hold or who comes in? And by the end of May, it'll be very obvious who the right guys are for what spot.
Do you think Jordan Beck is in his head right now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you look at his presence, so a lot of times as coaches, you go scout and, if a high school kid hits a home run and there's a coach from Oregon or whoever is there, they think automatically they might get a scholarship. And as coaches, you're not necessarily watching what a guy does, but how he does it. And, if you watch how he's hitting, he's very comfortable in the box. He's a good thinker, not an overthinker, but a good thinker as far as a hitter goes. Takes good swings. He's really squared some balls up. Wind's blowing a little different way. He's got a couple more home runs. So I think he's fine. We put him in a position today where he hasn't played a lot of left field, and he did misread a ball. So my only thing from day one of Jordan Beck is he needs to get at an SEC level base running and defense, and the defense has gotten a lot better. Base running is as well, but the hitting, I've got no problem with that. He'll start to get some breaks.
How much of a spark is Drew Gilbert giving this team right now?
A ton. I mean, but it's been going on. Now you guys are getting to see it, physically or on the field or something you could actually write down on paper, but we've gotten it from day one that he's been on campus. So, whatever his role will be, we might need him to pitch tomorrow. Days that he's on the bench, I kind of mentioned that yesterday. He does it.
Redmond looks the same to us compared to last year, but from a coaching standpoint, just what has he improved on?
I think he's more physical. So, I don't know that we could have, at the end of the year we might have, but we didn't bat an eye at leaving him out there that long because I think he's a lot better shape. If you go back all the way when we first got the job, he was recovering from some injuries and he was pretty frail. So he's kind of got the natural growth or maturity you like seeing a hitter get, where they get more physical and now they can drive the ball out of the park because of the work they've put in this weight room. But for him, it's being able to hold his stuff for a longer period of time and also to be able to go out there. And then we'll probably see throughout the course of the year too, when his outings are shorter, which there'll be some of those still, he'll be able to bounce back the next day and be just as effective.
What about that sinker? I think it's the sinker. Just has he always had that type of strikeout pitch with that particular one?
No, I think you're getting to the point too where as a guy gets older, and I'm not comparing him to Roy Halladay, but a guy who's got a repeatable delivery and good command with a baseball, they can start to manipulate that thing a little bit more as they get older. And it's an experiment every day in the cage as a hitter. Everyone knows that you can take a million swings. But those pitchers, when they're playing catch too, I mean, our guys, and I'm sure kids all across the country, big league guys are finding out how can I make this thing move around a little bit. I mean, Max Scherzer was a one-pitch, pitcher as a freshman in college, and now I don't even know how many he has.
Fergie fine. I meant to ask this
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah,
but
and again, time of year, better safe than sorry. I've probably said that a million times. People are getting tired of it. But at least that way I've kind of covered my butt come playoff time when we do some crazy stuff, if we're fortunate enough to do that. He wants to be out there. He's in a bad mood when he's not playing. He needs to change that a little bit. But there's not many guys I've ever coached that I'd rather have in uniform and be active than him.